here. Let's record this one. Anyway, it was a really great webinar, but it was a lot about RA and OA. So retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, which is not my game. I'm a private labeler. That is what I do. But after listening to Chris Wilkie, man, I'm telling you, that was inspiring. I mean, he's got people doing $46,000, $48,000 a month at 60% profitability, and they've only been doing it for 3 months. That's insane. How many of you guys have heard stories like this, but that is not you? Give me a 1 if you've heard these success stories floating around the web, but that's not you. Now give me a 2 if you want it to be you. So many 2s. My goodness. Absolutely. Now, here's the trick question. Give me a keyboard head smash, the infamous keyboard head smash, if that is you. If you are an Amazon success story in private label, retail arbitrage, or online arbitrage, even wholesaling, keyboard head smash now. Go. I'm going to call you out too. Steve is. Absolutely. How do you head smash? Darcy, how dare you even ask? Jacob, awesome. Amber's getting there. Okay, cool. Michael, beautiful. If you have to ask what a keyboard head smash is, you haven't been on enough of my webinars. It's when you literally smash your head into the keyboard. And I'll know because it'll come through. Barry, he will be. Awesome. So now let's start again. Everyone that gave me the keyboard head smash, tell me in a nutshell your success story. I want to hear it. And you may or may not be a guest on one of my webinars at some point. I want to bring success stories to the community that we're creating, that we've created. I think it's inspiring. It's what helped me when I was first starting out. I mean, let's be honest, a lot of us work from behind the computer and we don't get a lot of interaction. So starting these communities and hearing these success stories really does inspired me. I know it inspires a lot of you guys. So if you want to throw them in the box, great. I won't read your name. I'll just read your case study. 0 to 15,000 in 2 months wholesaling. Wow, that is fantastic. Alan said, last time my keyboard head smashed, I pressed the power button and my computer went off. Wes has questions. Hanging on to those questions. Yeah, the YouTube link. I mean, I don't have the YouTube link, but I think you can just go out to YouTube. Like, if you guys can see my screen, I'll show you where and if you guys aren't following me, what the heck? What's wrong with you? Just type in Brian Burt, and there I am. There's my ugly mug. This is my channel, Passive and Massive. And here's a lot of the replays, guys. I think I've got like 75 videos up there right now. So see this little button over here? See that one? It says unsubscribe, subscribe. Just subscribe. Go ahead. That way you'll get it all. Look, here we got Greg messaging me. Greg, hey Brian, the page to sign up, does that just redirect to the webinar? I'm still not seeing anything and no emails. See guys, this is the beauty of a live webinar. But check this out guys, 709 of you signed up for this webinar. We've got almost half of that, more than half of that on right now. How cool is that, right? Like the stay-at-home mom, 0 to 10,000 a month. She's got 2 kids. Well, she got 5 kids under 10. Wow, you go ahead. Good job. Let's share this webinar link. Copy webinar information. There it is. You guys don't mind that I'm doing this live, do you? you know it's real now, right? Oh, okay, cool. Yay, Greg. Yay. Let's all give Greg a unanimous applause. He says he's in here now. Yes, there he is. I can see you, Greg. Hang on just a moment. Okay, cool. So here's what we're going to do, guys. I'm going to go back to the format a little bit now that we know Dr. Mercer is in the house. Lori says applause. If you guys are happy, Greg finally made it in. Let's get a 1, a 2, an emoji, and or the infamous keyboard head smash. Blarg. I love it, Dave. That's hilarious. Okay, cool. So let's get to it. What is up, my Amazon peeps? Thank you guys so much for being here today. My name is Brian Burt. That's my ugly mug needing a shave. I'm an online marketer and all-around FBA junkie. I've been in for about 10 months and 11 months going on. And in that time, I've been able to grow my Amazon sales to over $100,000 a month and growing. In fact, we're at about $150. doing about 5,000 a day right now. So I'm extremely excited. A lot of that I absolutely have to bow down and attribute to Dr. Greg Mercer, who's our guest on this webinar. Without his tools, I definitely could not do it, because nothing, guys, happens until you find a really kick-ass product to sell. I love it. I've become addicted to finding products. It is something I do in my spare time for fun, because I'm just that much of a nerd. And also, Greg's tools. I mean, I know you guys all know what Junglescout is. It's like you almost can't do Amazon anymore without it. But his tools have been a lifesaver. No, this is not a pitch. This is pure value. I'm not getting paid a penny to do this. I just really dig Greg and his tools. Cool? All right, that's it, guys. So how about we actually let Greg jump on now? Who's with me? Give me the keyboard head smash if you guys are excited, because I'm not going to let him talk until I see a lot of enthusiasm from everybody on this webinar. Hundreds and hundreds of you. You know what? I actually cracked a Heineken right before this webinar too, so I'm going to take a sip off that right now. Awesome. Okay, Greg, we're getting a lot of really great response here, so I'm going to go ahead and ungate you. Hang on. I feel like it's where EFG Greg Mercer. There it is. Make presenter. Okay, Greg, can you hear me?
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, Dr. Mercer, how are you?
Excellent, great. How are you doing?
My friend, sorry about all of the confusion there, dude.
Oh, no worries. At first I thought, yeah, whatever. I got it figured out. I was
Okay.
only like a minute late, and then I figured out you were still talking, and then it's funny, you trying to Facebook me, and I'm like typing in the message box, like, I'm in here, dude. You don't have to reply to me.
I think that's why everyone loves webinars, because they're live and anything can happen. So
Yeah.
every one of us saw me actually sending you a Facebook message, which we can still see on your end now, which is really nice.
There we go. All right. So
Amber
yeah,
says,
thank
hi,
you for
Greg.
having
Hi,
me on.
Brian. You guys are gods. No, we're not gods. Absolutely not. Not at all. Anyway, so Greg, I'm sorry to interrupt, but dude, this is a follow-up to your first webinar. How many of you guys out there were on the first webinar with Greg and I? Give me one if you were. Give me two if you watched the replay. Give me a three if this is the first one you're catching with all of us. Lots of ones, lots of twos, lots of threes. So how about that, Greg? A nice little disbursement.
All right. Excellent.
Nice, man. So, I had such a big response to your first webinar.
Uh-huh.
You're back by popular demand.
Excellent.
That's
What do you want to go over tonight? There's tons of things. I know we had talked about a few things we could talk about, and I don't know if the audience has anything in particular, if we want to do product research again, or where do you want to take it?
Yeah, man. So here's the deal. Last time you were on, and for everybody listening, Greg and I established a company called Greg Shanks. And
I forgot about this. We did, didn't we?
and Greg, it was all about knives. But that was a mock company. I've actually had people ask me, how is that company doing now? Which is hilarious.
Well, let's see here. Greg Shanks, right?
Yeah.
Greg Shanks. Doesn't look like we've gotten him up for
No.
sale yet, Brian. Soon.
We need to do better product research, I think, on that.
We do.
But so here's maybe here we start here. I know we got a lot of threes there, so this is a lot of people's first time on the webinar with us.
Uh-huh.
Why don't I gauge real quick with our audience? How many people have or have heard of Junglescout? Let's get a one if you have it now. Why don't you go ahead and give me a two if you've heard of it? Give me a three if you're brand new to the entire concept. Okay, so we're getting a few threes, but mostly ones and twos here. So for all you threes out there, we're just going to kind of go through it, and you'll catch up. I'm sure of it. The ones and the twos are going to be our pretty much who we want to speak to right now, Greg.
All right.
So why don't we take
Excellent.
it from the top, man?
Great. So you want to start all the way at the beginning with coming up with product ideas, or what do you think?
Yeah, I say let's find a product idea. See, what I want to do is I want to kind of take it to a more intermediate level with you on this webinar. I'm almost going to try to treat it like it's just you and me talking for a minute, because I've been using your web app every single day, and
Okay.
I use the Chrome app on repeat all day long.
Uh-huh.
And I think that if we go and find a product, or if we find at least a niche together live right now, I think that'll give people a really good insight into how you do it, and maybe I can help a little bit as well.
Okay, great. So you want us to go ahead and just start with the Jungle Scout web app,
Yeah, let's
or
start
do you
with
want to do it like if you're looking through the bestsellers,
So
the
for
old school method?
let's not go old school, man. We're past that, right?
All right.
That was so 2015. Let's do this. Why don't I throw this out into the audience, and maybe we can just start with a niche and take it from there.
Okay,
Does that sound
cool.
cool? All right, guys.
Yeah.
So by the way, we're pretty packed out here. Can you see the attendees list? We have a big webinar going on right now. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, it's large. So, all right, guys. So, to the hundreds and hundreds of you on this webinar, what niche or vertical should we pick? What do you think? Should we do pet? Should we do gardening, home gardening? Should we do kitchen? Should we do industrial? Should we do photography? You guys throw it out there, and we'll try to pick it.
I don't think I can see the chat box. You'll have to relay to me what they say, Brian.
Okay. So we've got, let's see, baby, cycling, home and kitchen, kitchen, shoes, baby, pet, 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 kitchen, pet, garlic presses, Vicky says. Kitchen, pet, baby, gardening. Why don't we do pet? I'm seeing a lot of pet.
All right.
Or
Pet
kitchen.
supplies.
Guys, pet or kitchen? Give me one for pet, two for kitchen.
We can do both too.
Yeah?
Want to try both of them?
Yeah, why don't we go with both? I love that. That's a great idea.
All right. So we're inside of the Jungle Scout web app right here. I'm inside the product database for those of you who aren't familiar with it.
And they are
And
separate, right, Greg? Because I get a lot of questions on this. They're
yeah, I'll try to, once we pull up the extension, I'll kind of try to describe that part of it because I know there is a little bit of confusion there. I'll
okay,
try to clear that up.
great.
So, um, what we've done here is, like the Amazon website is awesome if you're a consumer, you're looking for something to buy, right? Amazon's like the best at selling stuff to people. However, it's not structured in such a way, that makes it easy for us sellers to come up with product ideas. For instance, like I can't go to Amazon right here and say like, hey, show me all the products that sell at least, like 300 a month that aren't very competitive and so on, right? It's set up here if you're a consumer. So what we kind of done at Jungle Scout is re-index or rebuild their catalog in a way that is user-friendly for us sellers. So, um, by audience vote here, we chose kitchen and dining and pet supplies, those two categories. And then in there, I can filter the results. So, there's like hundreds of thousands or millions of products in these two categories. So we want to filter down to good products for us to sell. What price point do you usually go with, Brian? I'll put that in here.
So I'm a little bit of an anomaly, and I took a page out of your book, Greg, where if everyone is going one direction, I go the opposite. So, I've heard a lot of
Oh,
it has to fit in the shoebox and it's got to be light and it shouldn't have moving parts and it should be under $50. I like to go over $50.
okay. We can do minimum $50 if you want.
I mean, we could do lower, guys, for if you guys want to see it. I typically just go higher because I've got a little bit of a capital and I've got a seed working for me. But maybe for the audience, we
Yeah.
shoot lower for, I don't know, maybe say
Well, let's go down to 30 since some people might not have quite as much capital to get started.
sure.
So we'll do like a minimum of $30 price. And this weeds out, all of, especially like the really low end items for like $10 because you just can't make any money selling $10 items on Amazon. Um, let's say we only want to see products that sell 300 a month, which is about 10 a day or more. That's my personal rule of thumb. All the products that I like to source, I like to sell at least 10 a day. Um, if we go down here to reviews, items without many reviews that are still selling well, that's usually an indicator of not a very competitive or not a very mature niche. So let's do a maximum. We'll start with 50 reviews, and we can adjust this if we don't have enough or have too many results. Um, let's see. Let's go ahead and put a max weight in here just because if it's too big or heavy, it just gets expensive. I mean, we can go a little bit high. We'll go like 8 pounds, which is still fairly large. Let's see. Uh, I could talk a little bit about all of these, but I'd rather just move a little quickly. Are there any other ones that you like to use, Brian?
Yeah, for me, you're right in there. I actually don't use weight.
Okay.
For me, it doesn't really matter if it's making a lot
Sure.
of money, But I'm not the creator. You are the creator, my friend.
Okay. I just don't like talking to myself the whole time.
Yeah, well, I hear you.
But all right, so we have a minimum price of $30. It has to sell at least 10 a day, which is 300 a month, and under 50 reviews, and we're in these two categories. So we have some results here. And these are all products that meet this meet the criteria we put in here, right? That doesn't mean that all of these are going to be good private label items, but it's a really good start. We have a really good filtered list now. And then what I normally do is I just look through here at the pictures to see, okay, is that like a type of product that would be easily manufactured in China? For instance, like Advantage, this is, I think, like drugs that dogs or cats take not to get fleas or ticks. That's not really a good product to get manufactured in China, right? But something like these are all pretty easy. Even like a flea and tick collar, you could probably get manufactured there. So we'll open up that as a tab. Let's see. This is vet wrap. Sure, we can get that manufactured. Craft paper bags. Sure,
Hey,
why not?
Greg, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is there any specific column that you like to filter by, or do you just typically go down the list without filtering?
I usually just go down the list. If I were to filter by something, I would probably do uh, the number of reviews.
Mm,
Because like if something's selling really well with like 5 reviews or whatever,
right, right. Two
that's
reviews.
probably a pretty good opportunity.
Sure.
So yeah, if I filter by that, I don't even know what this is. Charging handle. We can take a look at it. Um,
No idea what that is.
yeah, so we'll just look through some of the products here. And again, I'm just looking for things that are like relatively simple, like not drugs, not, um, something like this is probably pretty, like a electric dog collar. That's probably like a little more complicated, probably requires like a little bit higher like QC. So I'd probably stay away from that to start.
Hmm.
Um, let's see, a interior cat door. I could probably manufacture that pretty easy. It looks like a little piece of plastic.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Um, so we have a few product ideas, right? I've only gone through a tiny part of the list here, but now we have a flea and tick collar. We have some. This looks like the same wrap humans use, but it's just, I guess, advertised for vets.
Right.
So I guess people put on their animals.
Probably right. Yep.
We have some craft bags here. Um, this thing that I still don't know what it is. Looks like some kind of multi-tool or something.
Gunfighter. It's a charging handle. Who knows?
But yeah, we could keep looking at that.
Interesting.
Um, a little interior kitty door. Oh, it even has a cute little tail on it. That's nice.
Hmm.
All right, and that's it. So at this point, I have 5 product ideas, and this is where I would take the next step of my product research. All right, so I would pick out the main keyword or the main product type of this, and then do a search in the entire Amazon store. So this would probably we could do flea and tick collar, or we could just try flea collar. Let's actually just do flea collar. That's probably more generic.
Sure.
And I'm just going to do the whole Amazon store. I'm going to search for this, and these are the results. All right. Now, to be honest with you, this is one of those things that, to be honest, I don't really know too much about flea collars. If it has chemicals in it or what. This might be like a little bit of a gray area. Like you might need to research it more to see if there's any kind of like FDA regulations or something. But we'll continue on pretending like we don't have any problems like that. And the next step is I want to like we obviously we found one particular product, one particular flea and tick collar that selling 330 a month. This guy only has 4 reviews, so it's just started, brand new. Great price points at $38, which to me seems pretty high for a flea and tick collar.
Hmm.
So this product's obviously doing well, but what's the entire market or their entire niche look like, right? Because, as far as I know, maybe this is a really popular brand. Maybe Oprah just had, Mr. Sir Resto, on her show. I don't know. So I want to see what the entire market or niche is like. All right. So this is the next step that I take.
Right.
And
So you're saying, not to interrupt, but so you're saying
yeah,
that and this is exactly what I do too, guys. Start at the web app. That's your kind of top level filter, right? So that actually queries, and kind of a funny side note here. I was developing a piece of software to do exactly that, just for the internal team. At the moment you came out with this, which was a godsend because then I was able to fire my team and not spend the extra 15,000 to get it
yeah,
done. But yeah, guys, so you want to start at the web app. I get a lot of people that ask me, I mean, literally like 5 a day. What's the difference, between the web app and the Chrome app? Aren't they the same thing? It's really not.
Yes, we'll do that right now. So like what we were just in, this is on Junglescout's website. This is hosted on our servers. This is the web-based app. Now, when I look at this product right here, so here I'm inside the Amazon store, right? And if you install the Chrome extension, which is a separate product, so keep in mind, we have the Junglescout web app and the Junglescout Chrome extension. When you install the Chrome extension, I'm inside Google Chrome browser, and I have this little JS icon up here now. That means I have the Chrome extension, I've installed it. And this runs inside of the Amazon store. So, I'm just at Amazon.com here. I search flea collar, and then I can open up this. So if you have it installed, then you then see this pop up, inside of the Amazon store. And I can zoom in because I know it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. So yeah, hopefully that clarifies that. And then the next step here is I'm looking for A, the common price points in this category, B, if there's sufficient existing demand on Amazon, and C, the next thing I look at is how competitive it is, and the best indicator of that is how many reviews there are. So right away I see it's like, wow, there's quite a large variation in prices here. Everything from, this is the one we saw. I guess this is made by Bear. These sell for over $40, where there's other ones only for like $5 or $6. That would require a little more research to see what the difference is there. In the estimated sales column, as a general rule of thumb, I like to see at least 3,000 units being sold in the niche. So if I were to add up all of the dog collar or the flea and tick collar sales, I like them to add up to 3,000. So this is a no-brainer because the top two sell about 3,000. But if those weren't there, I'd add 300 plus 500 plus 300. Let's see, it's be 1,100. 500 more is 1,600, and so on. So even without these top two powerhouses, it looks like there's still about 3,000 units being sold on Amazon each month. So keep in mind here, guys, we're not looking for, we're not coming up with a brand new invention, a brand new idea, or creating a market. We already know that there's a lot of people going to Amazon.com each month, searching flea and tick collar and buying flea and tick collars. There's already this existing demand on this site. We're not, trying to create this market, which to me is a really good sign. To me, that means it's not very risky. I already know there's a whole bunch of people here that want to buy these things, So then if I look at the number of reviews, this is a good indicator of how mature or how competitive the market is. And what I like to see here is in the top 5 results, I like to see 1 or 2 sellers with under 50 reviews. And in the top 10, I would like to see 4 or 5 sellers with under 50 reviews. So this one's a little too competitive for my liking. It'd be pretty hard to get in these top 5 spots, especially these top 2. I could probably sneak in this top 10. However, I bet we can find something that's a better opportunity, with just as much demand without as much competition. So that's what we're trying to locate, these products that have a whole bunch of demand but not too much competition, and those are ones that we can, slide into the market.
Hey, Greg, when you see a name brand in your research, let's say the Bear Seresto, they're pretty well known within that niche, and they've just got, they're an outlier. They've got huge reviews as compared to almost everybody beneath them. Kind of this is the case here. How do you deal with that? Do you ignore them? Do you pay attention to them? It's a question I've had a lot of my research, and I know a lot of other people have asked me as well.
Yeah, and that's a really good question. You have to kind of judge this on a case-by-case basis. So, it's good to do a little bit of research in a particular niche if you decide you want to move forward with it, and then try to find out how brand loyal are dog owners when they're buying flea and tick collars. Do they go for these top 2 because they see the Bear brand, or are their vets recommending these, or how much brand allegiance do people have? For example, with a lot of clothing and apparel items, there's huge brand allegiance, right? I could easily make a Under Armour t-shirt with the same material. However, people want the little Under Armour logo on there, right? So that's just a case-by-case basis. For this particular product, I see a few red flags here more than just that it's a little more competitive for my liking. It seems like people really like this Bayer, the ones that they're selling here. They're doing a ton more sales than anyone else. They have a ton more reviews. It's obviously been around for a while. The price point's way higher. So to me, that's a little bit of a red flag that'd be kind of hard to compete with. But then you have to ask yourself, okay, what about the other brands that we've never heard of? Like, for instance, this one, KVP, that's actually another Bayer one, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But what about this one, Seresto? Um, I would have to do a little more research. I've never personally heard of that brand, but that doesn't mean a good dog owner hasn't.
Right.
Hearts, again,
The
I haven't.
Hearts, Seresto, that they're both big brands.
Yeah, okay. So then this one, it seems like people are going with the brands they know, right? And this probably falls in a little more to like similar to like pharmaceuticals or so on. Like okay, they like to go a little bit more with the name brand. So
Right.
this would be an example of something that probably isn't a good private label item.
And I agree with you 100%. And whenever I see that, one or two at the top are completely cannibalizing all of the sales dollars as compared to everything else, kind of like this, then for me, I agree that's a red flag. I move on.
Yeah, right away it's like, something's fishy here, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
yep. And for those of you guys watching, we didn't. I haven't come up with any of these ideas before. Like, Brad and I didn't think about these beforehand. But what's cool about that is you can really watch over our shoulders right now as we're actually doing product research and see what you'll find is some of these that we pull up are duds, like this one, right? But you can find out why they're duds, and then you'll also see that some of these will be winners, and we'll show you why they're winners. So yeah, I'm gonna hit X out of this one. Move on to the next
Totally
one.
random impromptu here, guys. There is no plan. That's why we love these live webinars. So
Right. So let's see. What do you think the best keyword for this one would be?
maybe vet tape, right?
Sure, give it a try and see what it comes up with. So
Rabbit.
vet tape.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that looks like a good call. This all looks similar, right?
Yep.
Again, so I found this, and I'm going to run the Junglescout Chrome extension. Remember, this opens up inside the Amazon store and gives us all this relevant information that we need.
Right.
And actually, let me real quick back up. I forgot that some people actually probably aren't familiar with this. So what this does is this, lists out in an easy-to-read format all of the products that are on this page. So instead of going and clicking on each item, then trying to find the rank, then trying to find out how many monthly sales it has and all this information, it's just within, as you can see here in real time, like within a second or two, we're given all this information so we can, quickly break down and see, how good this particular niche is. So I think most of these columns are pretty self-explanatory. Over here, BB seller, this is what seller controls the buy box, whether it's Amazon, FBA, or a fulfilled by merchant seller. FBA fees, this is the total fee that Amazon's charging if you sell this product FBA. So that includes the commission, includes the pick and pack, weight handling, and all that stuff. The tier, this tells you whether it's a standard or oversized item. And then the net is how much money's left over after Amazon takes their cut. So right here, this is a $16 product, $5.42 in fees, and then so that's how you get your $10.57 in net. So this is one of my favorite columns to look at after I've seen that it's a good price point, sufficient demand, not too competitive. Then I look at net, and it's like, okay, like how much money would be left over for me after Amazon takes their cut? Is it even possible to make any money there? So you can see, some of these products that Amazon's selling, if I was an FBA seller, I'd actually lose money, and I guess that's pretty obvious because $2.50. But I'd actually be losing money for each one I sold at $2.50.
Right, right. And guys, it's important to note too here that that net column is not all profit. You have to remove your unit cost, your per unit cost and shipping from that column in order to determine your actual profitability. So
yeah, that's absolutely right. So actually, here's a breakdown right here. If you click on it, you can see a breakdown. These are the weight and dimensions. This is Amazon's commission. These are the FBA fees, and then as Brian just said, that does not include the cost, your cost of the item. So, if I found out I could get this product for $4, then I could figure out, okay, my true profit would be $5.72.
Dude, when did you add that?
It's been around a while.
Man, I've been slacking on my pimping over
Yeah,
here because that is awesome.
sneak.
I'm learning as we go. That is great.
Yeah, a few little sneaky features that a lot of people don't know. If you click on rank, you get a graph here of how it's ranked over the months. Um, Same thing with price. This is how the price has changed over the months. And then another sneaky feature, if you hover over here, you see an X. If you click it, you can delete rows to get rid of the non-relevant results.
Oh man, you're blowing my mind here. Okay.
Yeah,
That's great. And you know what, actually, guys, a lot of these features here, not just the net feature, but rank and price, that's really interesting stuff you want to pay attention to. If somebody's dropping or raising their price, that can be an indication of a really good or oversaturated market. A lot of the times with the smaller price products, I find it's a race to the bottom where, everyone's lowering their price and lowering their price. And if you see that as a trend, inside of the price, when you click on the price inside of Junglescout, maybe an indication that you don't want to go into that category if everyone is lowering their prices. Also, Greg, you know what one of my absolute favorite features of Junglescout is?
what's that?
Trend, because
Yeah.
I'm a reformed SEO, and so I know Google Trends really, really well, and this is huge when you're doing product research. So can you explain that a little bit?
Sure. So what Brian's talking about, there's a little trend link down here. If you click it, this is the overall trend of the particular keyword that we searched. We searched for vet tape, and this is really good information to have because what we can see is how this item's trending over the years or seasons. So the first thing I look at is how it's trending over the years. So if you see back in like '05, this thing was way up here and it's just going down and down and down and down over the years, that's probably something you might want to think twice about getting into because you're not on a good trend. Something like this is pretty consistent, maybe trending down a tiny bit, but it doesn't concern me too much. And then we can also, look at the smaller seasonal trends and see like, okay, it looks like, right there, May was a slow time where September's the highest. Let's see. This one doesn't have huge seasonality type trends. However, if we were to search, say, like pool toys, you would see these huge spikes in the summer and deep lows in the winter, and that would be a good for you to know that okay, this is a very seasonal type product. I would expect these to be my slow months, these to be my high months, and so forth. So something like this with vet tape, it looks like it's relatively consistent. So yeah.
If you guys want to see some really big spikes in the trends, just search anything that's around holidays. Like
Yeah, that's another good one.
like leprechaun outfit or fireworks or Easter eggs, whatever. You get the point here. That's a huge part of my product research. Is looking at the trends and making sure it's is it seasonal? I mean, Greg, how do you feel about seasonal products? I don't hate them, but I want to know how you feel.
Yeah, so if I was a beginner, I was just starting out, I wouldn't want my first product to be seasonal. I would try to get something that would give me consistent or relatively consistent sales all year long. Once maybe you get a little more advanced, you have some more products up for sale on Amazon, that's when you can start playing, in my opinion, like the seasonal game. Like, like say like, okay, I know these are going to crush it all summer long. However, if you want a product like pool toys or whatever, a seasonal product like that, it's like, okay, you need to start planning in January, get your orders in then, so at the beginning of spring you have like a ton in stock. It's just a little more difficult with like your forecasting and so forth, whereas if you have something that sells relatively consistent all year long, it just makes it much easier for you, especially in your first product.
Yeah, and what was surprising to me is when I was first starting out, I thought it would be easier to find non-seasonal products, so products that kind of consistently sold well throughout the year. For me, it's difficult to find products like that. I find that more things are seasonal. I don't know if you agree with me there.
Yeah, so I mean, it seems like a lot of products at least have a little bit of seasonality. Like, right now I'm selling marshmallow sticks, And I think this is a good example of a product that has a little bit of seasonality. So like right now is should be like the slowest time. So this one's mine, Jungle Sticks.
Hmm.
Um, if I were to click on the trend here, I'd see that this is a little bit seasonal. However, it's not like a complete drop off. So you see, like in January, February, and March, it's a little bit slower. Whereas the spring and summers are higher.
Right.
However, there's still some sales. If I were to search, like let's say a Christmas tree, what we'll see is like a very drastic drop.
Hmm.
For like probably all the months except what October, November,
Right.
December or
Right.
something.
Possibly
So
a small spike in like July, Christmas in July. That's about it.
there you go.
Right.
We'll take a look at
You
it.
don't there.
But
Sure.
right, so something like this is I would not want to do this for my first product. Um, little seasonality jumps I think are fine, like I showed you with the marshmallow sticks, the Christmas tree thing. Um, you just have to be really disciplined, kind of know what you're doing with your forecasting. You have to order these in, let's say, July or August, and then, no, they're not going to start selling right away and so forth. So I think, in my opinion, it's a little more advanced.
Right. And you know what I like is that you've got the link to the full report there in Google Trends because, guys, that'll take you into a lot more than just what you're seeing here in terms of the basic trends. It'll show you what states and what countries it's selling best in. And if you're doing any off Amazon advertising like Facebook or Pinterest or Instagram or any of that, it's a bit more of an advanced technique, but Google Trends is also a big part of that game too. So for everyone out there that's doing some more advanced stuff, you definitely need to be using Google Trends.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Where are we at? Back at the vet tape.
I think we were. I think we were.
All right. So we had this up. And so again, we're seeing if this is a good opportunity, right? So it looks like here that I don't know, what the one was like that we pulled up. Let's see. All right, I'm no longer in that one, but that must have been some kind of multi-pack, or for whatever reason the price point of that one was much higher than these others.
Hmm.
So just on the first page of Vet Tape here, um, most of these are priced too low for my liking. There is one here for $30. Let's see what this is like. Again, this one's similar to what we found.
Hmm.
Um, we can click on this,
Looks like it's
look at
4
it. So
feet.
it looks like,
Yeah, you're getting a lot more there.
okay, yeah. All right, multi-packs, 12, 18, 24. So, this is something you could consider. Let's see, this guy, for the price point that interests us, he's doing 180 a month, which isn't bad. I try to shoot for more, but it looks like most of the people, let's see, like this is way too cheap to make any money. There's only 73 cents left over after Amazon fees. Um, this one's $17, still a little low for me, and so forth. So for this particular product, we could try like Vet Tape multi-pack and see how well those sell. However, I'm thinking that this is something that I'd pass on.
Hmm. Hmm. And I don't know what the
Uh,
psychological term for it is, and it's probably not applicable to this exact product. But I found that with a lot of my products, pricing higher sometimes has an opposite effect on what you would think. So I actually get more sales when I price higher as opposed to pricing, dirt cheap, like some of these vet tape rolls, like $4, $2. I think there's, some people assume that it's cheap and probably not good quality at a really low price.
Yeah, I've seen the same thing, which is kind of crazy, especially if you can get a little bit better reviews than like some of your competitors. Sometimes it's amazing to me how like unprice sensitive some of these Amazon sellers are, even if the review ratings are just a little bit better. Like if my competitor, has 4 stars and I have 5 stars, like it's crazy that I can charge like $30 when he's only charging 18. But you just,
Yeah.
you can do price testing like that.
I went out to Vegas last year to go to the ClickFunnels conference, and Perry Marshall was up on stage, and he had a really good line about selling physical products, and he said,
Uh-huh.
how many of y'all go out because Southern guy, right? How many of y'all go out there and go to Amazon and sort by price? Because I know I do, right? So I think it was really interesting, and it kind of opened my eyes that there are the people out there that have a little bit more money. Not everybody out there is dead broke living in a trailer park. I think that there are people out there that have some money and they want to spend it. And to me, that has been my target audience always, just maybe from a mindset perspective. But
Uh-huh.
ever since Perry said that, I was like, you know what? I do the same thing. I go out and I sort by price because I think the ones at the top are going to be better. So you guys keep that in mind. When you're looking for your products, don't always think, oh man, I got to find the cheapest or I got to find something that I like. It really is a mindset, right? Who are you trying to target and what are you trying to target? Think a little bigger, and assume that your audience has money. And funny enough, I think you'll find it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Um, cool. So yeah, right here I searched for what did I do? Craft paper bags.
Nice.
And all right, this is I see a few good indicators here right off the bat. So there's some that are priced in an area that kind of excites me, some of this more expensive stuff, right? I imagine these are either bigger bags or more in the pack. Yeah, I see $40, 55, 31, and so forth.
Hmm.
There's a lot of sales in this particular niche. So, even this top guy at $40 is selling like 1,500 a month, which is excellent.
With
And
only 143 reviews. Oh my goodness.
right,
That's
and then
awesome.
if we, like I said, my rule of thumb before is I like to see like two sellers with under 50 reviews in the top five, and it meets that criteria. And in the top 10, I'm not seeing many reviews either. 26, 45, 71, 27, and so forth. So this right away is something that I want to look into further. I found something that has lots of demand, um, and it isn't too competitive, right? This guy is in the number 3 spot with 20 reviews. This guy is in the number 5 spot with 8 reviews. This wouldn't be a very mature or competitive niche. Someone brand new can hop in there.
Guys, this meets
Um,
all of the criteria that Greg just went through. I mean, and if you were on since the beginning, this is totally impromptu. I mean, Greg, did we talk about finding this prior?
no,
And this
the
is the
audience came up with the categories. So
yeah, right, exactly. So you guys, I mean, right here, we just found a killer product, and we're only about a half an hour in, and we pretty much have been bullshitting the whole time. So keep going, Greg. I'm sorry.
So one thing to keep in mind with this particular product, um, it is obvious that we need to keep a close eye on our fees, right? So, some of these do have high fees. So even at $40, there's $22 in fees. However, $18 left over for some craft bags seems to me like it is still very doable. I'm not sure how much these cost, but they can't be that expensive. Like for 250, you know, um, I haven't personally priced this out, but I imagine you can get 250 bags for like $5, right? Like stores give these away for free when you buy something, so they can't be that expensive. So even if they were at uh, let's say $8 or $10, or we'll say 9, that would be 100% ROI, and I think that's probably a pretty conservative estimate on the price. I doubt a 250 pack of bags is really that expensive.
I'm looking.
So
I'm looking through Alibaba right now, and I'm seeing them for about a penny a bag.
a penny. So
Penny a bag.
okay,
Do you want me to?
even if we
I can actually just send that right to you here on Facebook.
even if we said 250 or 50 cents, or what did I just type in right there? Oh, a nickel.
Yep.
So that'd be a nickel, 250. Okay, so that'd be 12.50, but yeah, I 5x the price you gave me. So
Yeah. So yeah, I found them and they're nice looking for a penny, and I just did that real fast. So obviously that's no
uh-huh.
negotiation
So I
with
guess that would be $2.50 if they're a penny each.
right.
So
Right.
um, of course, it is going to cost, if we did get them for a penny each, $2.50. It's probably going to cost another 2, 3, maybe $4 to get those shipped. But still, at first glance, it appears to be something that we could do 100% ROI, return on investment, which is what I always shoot for. And then, like this guy at $55, I don't know if he's just a little bit bigger or what. So again, it seems like the 250 counts are pretty popular. Um, I don't know why he's charging more. These might be a little bit bigger, 6 inch by 12 inch. So yeah, these are this would be something that meets the criteria. So, like I kind of said earlier, your first one isn't always going to be a win, but it's good that I think we looked at a few different items so you could see like, okay, which ones do make good products, which ones don't make good products, and so forth.
Yep.
And since we're talking about it, we could go ahead and look at the trend on this item as well.
I
I would imagine,
want to interject here, Greg, a little. I know you said
yeah,
that your first one is not always going to be a win, and that is true. But guys, and this is not rose-colored glasses here. If you use these apps and you learn, I mean, you're on webinars like this already, so you're doing the right thing. But if you go through some of the training, Greg's got a ton of over-the-shoulder trainings out there. I know you're doing a lot with Scott Volker, The Amazing Seller. You've done a lot of webinars and podcasts with that. And that's how I learned, by listening to you and listening to others that were going through these trainings. It really cuts down the chances of you having a loser out of the gate, or having a loser even if you're on your 20th or 50th product.
yeah, like 95% of success on Amazon is going to be your product selection. If you pick something that either has no demand or is way too competitive, it's really tough to like ever make it with that product. If you pick some products that do meet these criteria that we're talking about, like this stuff almost like sells by default on Amazon. That's how powerful Amazon is. If you just follow a few kind of like simple rules and simple things to go by to launch a product and so forth, it's really not that complicated of a game. So.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, Greg, I think they're looking for the home run, right? They want that $150,000 a month product, and they do exist, guys, right? I've been lucky enough to find a few products that are doing really, really well. But the majority, I've got almost 22 SKUs now, should be about 28 by the end of March. The majority of them are just base hits, and that's all I want anyway.
Right.
Some are duds, right? Some have completely flunked, and others have just been home runs. But the lion's share are doing really well to the $2,000 to $3,000 to $5,000 profit margin every month.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, and then if we look at the trends for this one, this is a good, what you see here is, right, like a little bit of, let's see, November seems popular, spring, again, November. I guess people probably buy these things right before Christmas to put presents in. I don't know what they're buying these for, but this is this is an example of something that, don't be scared of these little ups and downs, right? Like in July or even, let's see, October, November, we're seeing like the 50 to 60 number, whereas in the slow time it's 45 or 50, whatever. That is not a very seasonal item. That's pretty consistent year round. So this would be a good product, as kind of like a beginner to, something that I think would be a type of good product for a beginner. And, I'm not saying for anyone to actually go after this craft bag right now, but you can use this same methodology that we're using, to find more products.
I would 100%. I'll say it. Go after it.
Yeah.
If you're on this webinar and you're looking for a great first product, that one looks pretty solid to me. Obviously, you got to do your research and your negotiation and your product testing and all that, but it's a great start, guys. So, Greg, thank you for that, man.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and just do one last one. Interior cat door. This probably just seems too cool not, to forget about it.
This one's awesome. I want this. I don't even have a cat.
I did skip over the product. I didn't know what it was, so we'll just we'll move on to the cat door.
Something for a rifle, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh man, this one even has a cleaning brush on it. This is cool. I'm hoping this is a winner.
Are you a cat guy, Greg?
No, I'm not even a dog guy. I don't really like pets, but
okay.
But if it has a brush built in, the reason I don't like pets much, Brian, is they're a little too like dirty for me. I like to have a pretty like clean area and space. I don't want the dog bringing in the mud. So if it has a brush on the door, maybe I could. Maybe I'd start liking dogs a little better.
You heard it first here, guys. We found a reason for Greg Mercer to get a cat. That's great.
I travel too much for pets anyway.
I was going to say it's travel, right? You're like a man about the. Where are you now? Where are you broadcasting from?
I'm actually in the States. Okay. So I'm here for just a few weeks. I'm actually in coastal Alabama right now, and then I'm going to go up to San Francisco next week to spend some time with one of the guys on my team. I'll be up in Vancouver after that, and then I'm spending the summer in Barcelona.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we have any Barcelona people on the call, reach out to me. We can catch up this summer.
Yeah, I think there actually are a few people from Spain here, and I'll be out
Sweet.
that way this summer too. I'm doing the whole Greece Italy thing, so maybe I'll try to connect with you.
Nice. That'd be fun.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, sorry. So nobody wants to hear about
All
that.
right.
They want to hear about
Yeah, exactly.
right.
All right. So, um, all right. I searched for interior cat door. This is definitely a simple product that'd be easy to manufacture. It's a few little pieces of plastic. This is something that probably doesn't break easily. There's not a lot of moving parts. It wouldn't require high quality control. So it kind of checks all the boxes of a good private label type item. And then let's see if we look at first thing, my eye for whatever reason jumps straight to demand. I like to see how much this is selling,
Hmm.
and this has pretty good demand. If I were to add these up, it would meet my 3,000 per month existing demand. I'd like to see that there's a little bit of depth to market, so it's not just the top seller, right? The top like 10 sellers, everyone's selling these pretty well, so that that doesn't raise any red flags if there's strong brand allegiance or anything like that. Um, let's see if we were to expand this a little. I doubt, like I said, I'm not a cat guy, so I don't know, but I doubt anyone looks for a particular brand when they're buying a cat door.
I
It's
don't.
probably just
I don't think that's
yeah,
good. I really don't. Yeah.
it's probably like just whatever has the good pictures, whatever has the good ratings, and so forth. So um, it checks the demand box. The price point, I see a little bit of variation here. I'd like to see, how this guy is able to charge $41. Oh, maybe because it has the cute little cat ears, right?
That's right. And the
Um,
tail on the other side.
yeah, or this guy has the brush in it. That's sweet.
Sure.
So, I'd probably go for one of these higher end ones just because I prefer the higher price points. And honestly, I've worked with a lot of Chinese manufacturing. To get these little brushes added into your cat door probably costs like 50 cents, right? And he's charging $32 instead of this guy for $10 or whatever. So, or same thing, with the little, which one had the pet ears? This one, of course, the most expensive.
Hmm.
To have the cat ears in your cat door costs like a penny more to be
Right. Right. And the
manufactured than the
tail
one
on the
that
back
does it.
side, right?
Right. And then these are the type of things, though, okay, now all of a sudden he's charging twice as much as the next guy.
And
Um,
I'm almost a little ashamed to admit it, but I have had the exact same product as some of my competitors, and I know this because my supplier told me that they sell to my main competitors. Um,
uh-huh.
and I just went out and had better product renderings done, better photography, and I charged probably 50 to 75% more than my competitors, and I am above them. My ranking
Yeah.
BSR is above them. My actual keyword ranking is above them. So I'm making more
Nice.
sales with the same product due to a few things, which is primarily imagery. That's
Right.
that's what I look at first. I don't know. What do you look at
It
first, Greg?
makes a big difference. Yeah, absolutely. If I was when I'm an Amazon consumer, that's exactly what I look at.
Hmm.
Um, and again, like right, this has a cute little cat. He has his ears up. This has its ears. Like that's a good photo, right? This is like cool. Whereas this is like this is, or especially like this one. This is a little dull, boring to me. It doesn't catch my attention. This one right away I can see. Oh man, look, these brushes are grooming my cat. My cat will love this.
I'm gonna I'm gonna go on record and say that most of these listings suck.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it because I'm already seeing ways that we could improve on this right now. I mean, if you have better pictures taken, there's an obvious they're missing the most obvious thing here in their first picture, right? What's the most attractive thing on the internet right now? Kittens or ever, right? That's what the internet is
Sure.
made for, kitten videos, right? So,
Right.
I mean, why don't we have a bunch of really cute kittens going through this little door? And it doesn't, to me, even look like the dimensions are correct to fill the whole width on that image that we were looking at, the kitty pass. So you
Right.
want to make sure that your
So,
image is a complete square. It fills up the whole space. So I'm not going to bore you guys with all the details, but pay attention to your imagery. Think creatively, and then spend the extra dollar. I mean, I pay my render dude and my photographers a lot to get them done correctly because you do it once and it'll pay you back in dividends forever.
oh yeah, it's definitely not an area you'd want to cheap out on. Yeah, don't try to cut corners and save an extra $20 to get crappy photos. It's not going to pay off for you.
Right. Absolutely.
So, It looks like this is a relatively new item. I don't know exactly what happened here, but I don't think this is a very seasonal item. I think this is just relatively new. Looks like because since January of 2015, so for the past year, it's been pretty consistent. Um, so I wouldn't be worried about seasonality with this product. I imagine people install these things in their homes all year long. And then if I look at reviews here, um, there's a few. If this guy with 15 was in the number 2 spot, I might be a little bit more worried. However, overall, this isn't too competitive of a niche. You know, like number 6, 7, 8, none of them have very many reviews. And there's just a lot of other things we can improve on with this product. So, you know, I think this is another pretty good product. But yeah, like I was saying before, that I can't emphasize enough. You know, you don't. We just came up with these products, you know, in a few minutes. You don't have to actually go over. I wouldn't recommend trying to go for these exact products we're looking at here. Just use the same criteria and find out a whole bunch of your own. Um, you know, you can tell by how random and weird these products are that the possibilities are just like endless, right? And that's what's really cool about doing your research in the product database. I've never even heard of a cat door in my life. I've never even seen one of these before. And I would never think in a million years to sell craft paper bags or whatever else we were looking at, right? These are the kind of things that if you were just trying to brainstorm product ideas in your head, you would never think of these things, you know?
Right.
So.
And I think that that's why, you know, I've got a bunch of questions coming through here, but I think that's why, guys, having the web app is, it's not just important, it's critical. You have to have it as a part of the whole. I mean, you can do a lot of research. I mean, Greg, how long ago did you launch the Chrome app? Like 9 months ago?
The Chrome extension we did about a year ago.
About a year? Because I know I jumped into Amazon just before it was available, and I was doing it all manually, and that was a nightmare.
Yeah.
So
Pulling out Excel sheets with all the same information in it.
Oh,
It
yeah.
took like a day.
I was a Google Sheets master at one point. And then you came out with this, and it was a godsend. And then you came out with the web app, and that was just, you know, mission critical. And I have a lot of people asking here too, you know, what's the difference between Junglescout Pro and just the regular Junglescout? Maybe you want to touch on that?
Yeah, sure. So, and for those of you who don't know, they're referring to the extension here. With the extension, there's two options. There's the light version or the pro version. The light version, it only has, let's see, it will have these columns. So let me just refresh this real quick. It doesn't have the ability to add additional columns or to choose which columns you want. It just has these right here. And then it's missing a few of the other just features, like it doesn't have trends integrated. This button over here, I didn't touch on this, but this actually adds these products to your product tracker. So if I were to click this, it adds these to track inside my web app. So it's just not quite as feature rich. It doesn't have all the features that the Pro version does.
Right, right.
It's also missing this filter. So you know you can say, okay, only show me the items over $30. You can filter those out, and then okay, now we're only looking at the higher priced cat doors.
And this is a one-time payment for the year, isn't it? And what's the difference in the payment between the Pro and the non-Pro?
Yep. So Google Chrome extensions are only just a one-time payment. You get to keep them forever. So the light version is $87, and the Pro version is $147. So if we look at the pricing table on Junglescout here, we'll see that. Remember, as we kind of discussed, let's see. Can't get the Chrome extensions are over here for $87, the light version. I've been using the Pro for $147. So remember, these are one-time fees. You keep it forever. The web app, which again, that's where the product database and the product tracker is. It's a monthly fee for the $39 or $99, and there is a free trial too. So if you're sitting at home tonight, you want to come up with some product ideas, go ahead and you can just sign up for one of these web apps. It's free for a week, so you can probably come up with a whole bunch of product ideas before you even have to pay for it. And then, yeah.
So I was mistaken. It's a one-time fee forever on the Chrome app. That's amazing because I thought it was a yearly thing. So that's even better.
Yeah, one-time fee.
Totally cool, man. And I didn't realize you actually added the Pro version of the web app too. I'm going to have to upgrade to that.
Yeah, so the pro version will get you some more product tracks. So we actually haven't even really talked about this. We can touch on this real quick.
Mhm.
So the with the product tracker, what this is I can let's go ahead and grab this cat door, cute little one that I like. I'll scroll down here and grab this ASIN. So I can add this into my product, and this would actually be like my next step. So if I said, okay, I want to go ahead and I want to sell these cat doors, I would add this into my product tracker, and I would monitor this for a few weeks before I actually pulled the trigger and sent a large sum of money to my Chinese supplier. Okay, so this monitors it in real time, and there's not always data on all these products. So if there's not, it will start tracking it as of today. If we have existing information, it will show it to you in here. But this prevents. So, for instance, when I launch a product, a popular promotional strategy, I do it, most other people do it, is to do a giveaway to get it started. So maybe I'll give away 20, 50, 100 products, however many. Um, the problem with that as a seller doing research is it makes it seem like, when I'm looking at this product at their sales rank or looking at the Junglescout extension, it makes it seem like that's how many they're actually selling all the time organically, right?
So it's
So
artificial inflation.
yeah, artificial inflation. So a way to prevent that is track it for a week or two and say like, okay, it looks like this guy's rank for the past. We have 14 days of data here. Looks like for the past 2 weeks, his rank's been about the same, around 3,000, and he's selling 20, 16, then 9, 24, 18. So he hasn't done a large giveaway in the past 2 weeks. This is how many he's actually selling. So it's good to you can track a few of the items. If I were actually going to order this, I would go ahead and I would track like 5 or 10 of these items to make sure that they're really selling as many as I thought. So yeah, the pro version gets you more product tracks, and not many people actually know this, but we're actually probably on Friday of this week we're releasing a new feature into the pro version, but we'll not touch on that too much.
Oh, come on, man.
For
You're teasing us here. You're teasing us.
$99.
You got to tell us now. What was that?
All right. Let's
Yeah,
see
I'm
here.
working for you guys out there. See how I'm pushing Greg? So
I'm not an admin account. I can't pull it up as a demo. However, I'll give you a quick little teaser.
sure.
So, as the product database, how it filters and searches through specific products. So, for instance, we have, let's see, 10,300,000 products in here. The new feature, instead of searching through products, you're actually going to be searching through keywords or niches. So instead of finding one example, which is a cat door, and looking into it more, instead one of the keywords would be cat door, and it would give you the demand or the competition on that existing keyword. Does that make sense?
Sure. Wow, that's
So
that's awesome. That's
we're ironing out the final little bugs right now, and then yeah, Brian, I'll get you hooked up with Access once it comes
dude.
out.
You got to. I need it in my life right now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is really cool. I was actually going to ask you if you're going to add that. So that's definitely a cool feature, man. You always seem to be about one step ahead of me in my questions and features I want to add. So it's so cool, man.
It's it's cool. All of our product ideas essentially just come from our customers. People will say like, "Man, I really wish I did this. I really wish I did that." And yeah, we have a full-time dev team, that are always working on adding new features and improving on it. So yeah, it's come a long way, and we're continuing to improve a little bit on it every day.
Nice. And you know what? It's scary accurate too. I would say 99% of the time. There are times I think the only thing I've ever seen, guys, the only thing I haven't seen that's completely one to one sometimes is the web app does not show the exact same number sometimes as the Chrome app. So I know you've seen that before, and I've seen you address it in the groups. But just to play devil's advocate here, maybe you can explain like why that happens and how you're working to remedy that.
Yeah, sure. So what he's talking about here is like estimated sales. Let me just sort these all don't have many sales. Let me find some that do to give you a better example. So for this, the estimated sales are 2,700 or 2,711, and uh, the rank's actually number one in arts. Okay, so this is the best selling in the whole arts, crafts, and sewing category. So for this particular product, so our database, and I can actually refresh this to show you, the information in it could be up to about a week old. So we can only, this guy's still number one, so it wasn't a great example. Let me try this one. The ranks change hourly, or even maybe more than an hour. So what happens is, looks like that one's probably not available anymore. I can try another, but anyway, the ranks change every hour. So in our product database, we might have, what did I have? I think in there the rank was number 4. Now it's number 7.
Right.
So for instance, number 7 is going to have a little bit different estimated demand than what number 4 would have. So since we can't actually access Amazon's database in real time, it takes us about like a week to update all of our products and to find all the new good selling products. So the information here could be up to a week old, and in that time, the rank, therefore the estimated sales, could change a little bit. Does that make sense?
It does make a lot of sense, and I'm glad you explained it too, because I've had questions on that. But
yeah, so it's still great for like product ideas, but then you can open it up in the actual Amazon store and see what it's doing today, because that might be from yesterday or 2 days ago.
And to kind of zoom out here, guys, and give you the 30,000 foot view, because Greg, you're so great with all this and you know it intimately. But as an active user, or somebody that doesn't know it very well, let's zoom out here a bit, kind of 30,000 foot view level. Here's what I do, and it's my process. And I kind of want to explain it to you too, Greg, so that if I'm doing something wrong, you can
I'd like to hear it.
Slap me on the hand and tell me not to. But long story short, I start with the web app. So I start with the web app, and I have a rough idea on what I'm looking for. And even if I don't, I just hit select all. I put in my criteria, price typically, then I do sales. And then I do reviews, and that's about it. And I'll go through and I'll start ciphering there. So let's say I do $20 in price. I want at least, and I follow your idea there, I want to do at least 10 a day, so my sales are 300 for the month. And then I don't want my reviews to be over 100. So for me, I'm willing to give away 200 to get 100 reviews. And then I just hit go. And now occasionally I've been playing with your listing quality too.
Yeah, should we touch on that real quick? I know we're starting to go over time here, but
hey, let's take a survey.
Pretty sweet.
Let's take a survey. Hey guys, so we've still got 99% of all the attendees on the webinar. That's awesome. You guys are all awesome. Give me a 1, give me a 2, give me a keyboard head smash if you want us to keep going here and kind of talk about the processes from a higher level. If not, we'll close shop and get the heck out of here. About to crack another Heineken anyway. Okay, all right, looks like they want us to keep going. 1, yes, please, go, go, go.
All right, so we'll just touch on this. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of cool filters here. So there's some, I'm going to go over 2, but I'll make them quick, ways to come up with other really good product ideas. So one thing that I'll do is, okay, we did minimum $20 price. I'll actually get rid of the number of reviews. The listing quality score, what we've done is we've ranked all of the listings from 1 to 100 of how good the listing is. So we look at the title, the bullet points, the description, the number of pictures, the resolution of the pictures, and so forth, and rate these products. So if an item has a listing the lower means the listing is worse. So like a listing quality score of 10 would mean it probably has like 1 product, like 3 bullet points, and no description. So if I do a max listing quality score of, let's say 30, let's see how many products to come up with here. Still quite a few, 10,000. But let me sort this by the worst ones first. So let's sort that one more time. And what these are going to be is products that are selling well. So this always amazes me. This particular product is selling like 1,000. And at the time that we gathered this information, it didn't even have any pictures. We'll see if it still doesn't have any. All right, so now it has 1 picture.
One really crappy picture.
Yeah, 1 really crappy picture.
Right.
It does have 5 bullet points, but they're extremely short. and it doesn't have a description. Oh, yes, it does. So as you can see, this is a really good description, right? Quench dry or frizzy's hair's thirst with replenishing moisture. There's no capitals in these sentence. I see a few periods, but it's terrible,
I'm
right?
surprised there's
This is
not like a deer in there. Deer, quench dry or frizzy hairs.
right. So this is a terrible listing, yet it's selling like how many would we say 1,000 a month.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So we can look at some of these other ones. But you can see like all of these, this is their whole title right here, right? Like Nutri West DSF formula. I have no idea what that is. I guess some people do because they're able to find it. Or, this is a Pebble watch, but this is a terrible title, right? So let's look at this. So I guess this is the only thing about it. Sometimes these will be improved before more people sell on them, right? Like this data could be up to a few days old. So for that particular item, it was. But
I would still say
what
it's a
you'll find
pretty
in
terrible
here is
listing, though, in terms of,
yeah,
the quality of the title and what's going on.
right.
They could have definitely improved it.
Yeah, so you can look through here and find really bad listings that are still selling well. And that would mean it's a good opportunity for us. This one at the time, its title was NA. So anyway.
And they're still making 485 sales.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I don't know what's going on with that one, but another good way we could use this, again, let's just do all of our categories. Minimum $20 price. Another way I like to see, okay, I want to see items that are still selling. We'll still say 300, and of course you can adjust that a little bit.
Yeah, play around, guys. Play with the numbers. Don't stick to Greg or my recommendations. You really do want to play with this. Go up, down, left, right. I do all the time.
Yeah, what I did here is I want to find items that are selling well. So again, I did 10 a day or 300 a month, yet don't have very good ratings. So I did a maximum of 3.5 stars. So all of these are products that are still selling well. Like look, like 500, 800, 480, and so forth. Yet the average star rating, as you can see here, is like 3.3, 3.1, and so forth. And then these are items that are really good. I like to click on them and see if I could improve this item. So, this product's $30. It has 3 reviews, average 1.8, so it's terrible. It only has 3 reviews and they're bad, yet it's still selling 370 a month. So, let's open this up in Amazon and look at it. What is this? Transfer tape. So I guess it looks like you print on this and then it transfers to something.
Yeah, I would assume. Does anyone know what that means out there? I have no idea what transfer tape is, but okay.
Yeah. So, but 2 people think it's terrible. One guy gave it a 4 out of 5. And then you can read this and say like, okay, why are they giving it such bad reviews? So, it was not transparent or clear like it says, and this product is not clear as stated. So this could be as simple as I could sell this exact same product, but instead of saying clear right here, I could just say cloudy or whatever. You can come up with a good word to describe this, and then if you're not misleading your customers and at least they know what they're getting, they'll probably give you better ratings. Or I could actually try to find clear transfer tape, because it looks like that's what these people want, and then again I would start getting good reviews. So
Greg, what you really said there is genius, and it's something it's never occurred to me, guys. I don't know how many of you guys have thought about this, but inside of the web app, instead of just looking for good opportunities or a Me Too product, you can find essentially low products with really low reviews and improve on that product. Greg, that's a different way to look at it entirely.
Yeah, so there's lots of ways you could use it like that, but that's another good long-term strategy, right? Like you're not just
I love it.
exact copying a product. Instead, you're making improvements or so forth, which is great. So those are just 2 other cool ways that I like to use the web app.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, honestly, I haven't even thought about looking for products that I could improve on. I'm just trying to find products that I think I can compete with or do better than. And, how much experience have you had in terms of working to add, say, the fuzzy pieces to the cat door or small improvements to existing products that suppliers have?
I actually do it quite a bit now with my products, and depending on the item, it's usually fairly easy. Like for instance, you could contact a supplier that makes this and just say, "Hey, like I need crystal clear transfer tape," and they'd probably work with you on it, and they could probably come up with something that does that. Or, like we said, maybe you could even sell this exact same tape, but just accurately state that it's not clear, right? Like it is a little bit cloudy. But I had, like, for instance, one of my products that had like plastic buckles on it, and I replaced them with metal buckles. That was easy to do. I just worked with the supplier. They actually didn't make the metal buckles. They got them from a different factory, but they were very accommodating. They were able to do it. So it can definitely be done. This is just the type of thing you just communicate with the factory, talk to them about, and so forth.
I mean, that one tip right there is going to make me, I'm not kidding when I say this, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it absolutely should make everyone on this webinar wealthy as well. I mean, it's genius. I love it, man. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, sure thing.
Awesome, guys. Okay, cool. So we are about 20 minutes over here. Greg, do you have a few more minutes for a few questions? They've been
Yeah,
flooding in
sure.
here
Let's
like crazy.
go ahead and take a few
So,
questions.
all right, guys, here's what we'll do. Is everyone still alive and awake? And give me a one if you guys are enjoying this webinar and if you've learned a thing or two that you think is going to make you some damn money. Lots. Yes, hell yes, hell yes. Man, we literally just got about 200 ones and hell yeses. Okay, cool. So here's the deal. We're going to open it up for about 10 minutes for question and answer. So if you guys want to throw in your most searing questions, we'll try to get to them. I like this guy Wes because he keeps saying War Eagle and then a bunch of exclamation points. I have no idea what that is, but
Oh, Brian, I'm an Auburn grad. I went to Auburn. That's our battle cry, War Eagle.
okay. So maybe we need to pay more attention to Wes.
Yeah, let's answer Wes's question.
He knows how to
He's
get right
obviously
to
a
the
cool
heart.
guy, man.
He got you.
Yeah, Wes. Unfortunately, I can't see the chat box. Otherwise, I would have said that earlier.
Oh man. Okay. So he's asking, can you guys go into some detail about dealing with suppliers, organizing communications, selecting quality supplier? I mean, that's a whole webinar kind of onto itself. You want to give just kind of a few tips on that?
Um, yeah, I can give a few tips on that. I find all my suppliers from Alibaba.com. You search from there. I have a template that you can find in the blog here. If you search for the blog, there's a post about contacting suppliers. Just find that. There's a template you can copy and paste and use. Um, to start, I do quantity, so I'll contact as many suppliers as I can find, like 20, and then from there you can weed out the bad ones and so forth. But yeah, I mean, it's not too difficult. Keep in mind they're on a different time zone than you probably. English isn't their first language, yet they should still be able to communicate well with you. Even if it's a great factory, if they can't communicate, you can't communicate well with them, it's probably going to be difficult. And yeah, those would be a few of my tips.
I think that's awesome. And Wes, just to kind of add on to what Greg was saying, um, I'm a huge fan of SOPs or standard operating procedures. I think that everyone that's been on my webinars kind of knows this by now. We from the beginning have been documenting our journey and writing it down, and it's gotten really refined. And although our SOPs are kind of always in an evolution, they're at a really nice place right now. I'm kind of a nerd, right, Greg? So I printed them out, like 3-hole punched them and have them in a binder.
Nice.
They're like in the safe now, like locked up behind. But that's kind of the secret, right? But there's so much good training out there, and there's so much from Greg. Greg is just pumping out value like it's his job because, well, it is. But but Greg, you put out a ton of great value, and there's a lot of podcasts. There's a lot you can find. I mean, within my group, Ecomazon, I'm doing a lot of that too. So I would say go out there, and if you're looking on tips, tricks, standard operating procedures, best practices in terms of finding, negotiating with suppliers and renegotiating and getting best prices and then shipping and all that, it's out there. You just have to go hunting for it and then develop your own operating procedures. Document every step of everything you're doing. I mean, just make a quick note, open a Google Sheet, and what'd you do now? What'd you do now? What'd you do now? What was the outcome? Because what happens is it becomes almost like a chronological timeline. You'll be able to go back and see where you might have missed something or made a mistake or you could have done better. And for us, it's made all the difference. And in fact, it got so good and it's getting to the point where I feel like it's at a really decent place that we are able to hand our SOPs over to VAs now. So I'm in the process right now, and I don't know, Greg, if you have any VAs, but I'm in the process of interviewing some product research and specialists who actually are in China. So they'll be able to speak the language
Nice.
fluently. They're of course bilingual, and they'll be able to speak the language and just follow the procedures that we've already created.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, man, I would say that's definitely what I would do instead of going into the details here. Just go out and find the information, dude. It's all over the place. Cool. All right, nice. Moving on. So we've got 300 questions here. I'm going to try to find some commonalities between them. Does Jungle Scout work well with Amazon.ca or any other countries?
So the Jungle Scout extension, so remember that's this one, right? That works inside the Amazon store. It fully supports the .com and .uk store. The other stores, it only has partial support. When I say that, it doesn't have estimated sales because we don't have algorithms for those other stores yet. And then the web app, unfortunately, only supports the US store. So not much support for Canada. However, keep in mind, if you live in a different country, you can still sell in the US store. I don't know if that's clear to everyone or not. So, even if you live in the UK, you could still sell in the US store. If you live in Australia, you could sell in the US or whatever. And US is the largest right now. There are, other areas that look exciting in the future, but US is where it's at right now.
Yeah, 100%. And Greg, are you in any of the other markets yet? Are you in the UK or Germany or?
No, I'm not. Probably soon I'm going to be testing it, but I've spoken to some people that are in all the stores, and there's just not the volume in any other stores yet like there is the US.
Yeah.
Like you could be like number or like top 100 in the whole category and only, not be selling that much volume. So it doesn't quite excite me yet.
I'm right at the point now where one of my best products, if not my very best product, is number one for all the keywords, number one in the category, and I'm finding a ceiling. So it's like I can only sell so many of these a day, right? Because how do you sell more? I'm spending as much as I can in pay per click. I'm number one for the keywords. I'm number one in the category. So I think now that's a good excuse to kind of branch out a little bit into other avenues. The UK or Canada or Germany, I've heard is also really large. So I think if you're
Yeah,
not at that point, it doesn't make a lot of sense, not to do it, right?
right.
To do it, I should say, to jump into other countries. So yeah, good question though, Mike. Sorry guys, I've got a crazy puppy going nuts right here. If you can hear him in the background. Um, Jeremy asks, do you guys find sorting based on estimated sales is a legitimate way to search through the results in the Chrome extension?
That's a good question. So I guess what he means by that, all right, let's see here. If we have, so let's go back and do our transfer tape. Well, it didn't spell it right, but you get the idea. And if we look at this, um, I by default always, and where did I go wrong here? Um, I always leave it sorted by the number that it organically shows up in the results. I don't go over here and sort by estimated sales. Maybe, oh, there's only three products here.
Right, right.
Let's transfer. If I spell it correctly, I bet we can find some more. Um, I like to leave it sorted the same way that again, I don't know why a lot of these aren't having categories. I guess Amazon, they're kind of a strange item or whatever, but I leave it sorted the same way that a consumer is going to see it. I don't go over here and sort by estimated sales instead. So hopefully I answered your question. I leave it sorted like this.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Okay.
So,
So yeah,
yep.
that'll answer this question. Um, you know, Fletch, look here, Brian says he's a VA. Yeah, hit me up if you're a VA. Would you source from Taiwan or Thailand as opposed to China? What do you think about that, Greg?
I don't see any problem with it. I have one product that's sourced from Taiwan, and yeah, wherever you can find a good factory at, I don't have anything against either of those countries.
Yeah, yeah, I've
Go
found
for it, give it a try.
yeah, I mean, wherever you can make a good relationship, and obviously you want to get samples first, and if you feel good about it, go with it. I don't care where it comes from. I'm looking in India as well right now. Argentina, sure, Carolina, wherever you find them. Um, Fernando wants to know if you're doing anything to increase your sales outside of Amazon, like Facebook ads or anything like that.
Personally, I don't. Don't I do the pay-per-click inside of Amazon, but I don't send any other type of outside traffic to any of my products.
Yep, yep. Okay. Yeah, and I think that's great. My SOPs, standard operating procedures. Yeah, I don't actually have them for public use right now. But kind of hidden, insider secret here, we are putting them together into checklists that I'll get out to my group. So if you guys are not in my group, you can check out Ecomazon. It's ECOM on Facebook. That's our group right now. Or just visit the website, which will just redirect you actually to Ecomazon. I've got some of that in there. And I know Greg, I know a lot of us are really, really interested in Junglescout. I mean, it is the core, as I said, of everything I do in terms of product research. Where can they get it? How can they find it? And how can they get, uh, online with you and hear about all your updates and all that cool stuff?
Yeah, so just junglescout.com is our product, and I owe Brian a big thank you because he's not like an affiliate. He doesn't get any money or not even hardly a pat on the back for recommending it. So thank you, Brian. Um, but yeah, this is where it's at. I'm pretty darn active in the blog. If you want to check out our blog, we post a few times a week about some pretty cool stuff. So you can check it out there. Um, if you have anything, questions about certain items, leave them in the comments. I'm pretty darn good about replying to all the comments. So yeah,
Yeah,
check it
and
out.
Greg, you're too humble, man. I mean, Greg's in there and he's putting out different checklists and work documents you can follow. And I literally have had two or three of your checklists taped to my wall when I was first starting out, and
Nice.
would stare at them. And that's why, guys. I mean, for those of you that have not been on my webinars before, we call them no bullshit webinars, no pitch. All value for a reason. This is not a pitch. This is absolutely something I completely believe in. I'm not making a dime off of this. Greg's just awesome, and so is his product. So go pick it up. Don't waste.
Yeah, and a few other like free resources that don't cost you guys anything. We have a free sales estimator here, so if you go there, you can enter a product's rank, and it will show you about how many sales it makes each month. Another really good one, if you want to follow along, we publicly sourced and launched a product, those bamboo sticks that I showed you guys. So you can follow along with all those right there if you're interested in that. So those are two really good resources.
I'm thinking maybe the next public launch has to be a shank. I don't know.
Greg Shank.
Greg Shanks. So all right, guys, this is great. Thank you for being here, Greg. Really,
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on. It's always fun to chat with you.
yeah. We're a little different here. We try to just keep it light, but deliver a lot of value. How many of you guys got value out of this webinar? Give me the one, give me the two, give me the keyboard head smash. How many of you guys like it? Let's get a big thanks for Greg too. Awesome. It's just flooding in here. It's insane. Okay, guys. Well, Greg, thank you so much. And if you had a good time on this webinar, do me a favor, go out to the groups on Facebook or your favorite social platform. We're all over Facebook, so I like Facebook. And drop a nice note if you can. We do these for free. Obviously, I'm bringing 2 a week now. I'm doing 3 a week, and it's just fun, and it feels good to see that you guys are getting value. So go out and say something nice about it, and then keep an ear out. I've got webinars coming up 2 to 3 a week now, and we're just gonna. I should have turned it into a podcast, Greg, because it's a
Yeah, no kidding.
hell of a lot of work to do these webinars. Those
Well, thank you for doing it, Brian. I think I probably speak for the whole audience here. I really appreciate all the free value you provide. So that's awesome.
Yeah, man, my pleasure, my pleasure. All right, well, thank you for being on, and thank you all for being on, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
All right, see you, Brian.
Thanks, Greg. Bye.